I was just expecting a normal January regular season game, but boy was I wrong. The Pelicans visited the TD Garden in which turned out to be an extraordinary game of basketball. I will cover the Boston Celtics' keys to victory and much more on this fresh episode of the Indian Celtic Show. Let's talk Celtic basketball. Hello and welcome along to another episode of the Indian Celtic Show. My name is Mohit Sharma and I am the host of the only podcast you need for the coverage of your Boston Celtics. You can find this podcast on Spotify and right here on YouTube. Make sure to give the channel a subscribe, give this video a like, hop into the comment section, and let's talk Celtic basketball. So, the Boston Celtics defeated the New Orleans Pelicans 118 to 112. But from the start of the game to a good portion of the half of the game, the only thing I could think of was how in the world are the New Orleans Pelicans not near the top of the Western Conference? Because the New Orleans Pelicans really balled out today. I was looking at the Pelicans and the only thing I could think of, they have everything you need in a ball club. They have a beast in Zion Williamson. And when I say a beast, I mean a beast. I saw him bumping Celtics players and them falling 5 feet, 10 feet away. Drew Holiday tried his best, but this dude, Zion Williamson, when he's on it, you could see why Shaquille O'Neal is so hard and so tough on Zion, because you can see the potential. If this dude is on it, man, he is unstoppable. And the only thing that really slowed him down today was his fitness. If it weren't for the New Orleans Pelicans getting tired, I don't think the Celtics would have gotten this win. Maybe they did, but the Pelicans, maybe they could have, but the Pelicans getting tired was one of the keys to the Celtics' victories. So I was talking about the Pelicans. They not only have Zion, they have a clutch scorer and a prolific scorer in Brandon Ingram, who's definitely one of my favorite players in the league. They also have an elite offensive guard in CJ McCollum, elite three-point shooters like Trey Murphy, elite athletes like Herb Jones, defensive athletes, a great center in Jonas Valanciunas. Man, they have everything. I don't know why it is that they are around 5th or 6th in the Western Conference. Maybe it has to do with effort. Maybe it has to do with them being a young team. I read some Pelicans pages and some Pelicans on some Pelicans podcasts, like they're not happy with their coaching staff. I don't know what it is, but this team has the talent, and if they figure it out in a couple of years, they sure will be among the top teams in the West. And as for the Boston Celtics, they moved on from the Clippers game, but they forgot to leave their bad shooting behind. It started yet again in this game. The Celtics were doing a lot of things good, but their shots weren't falling again. But that was the only thing I was concerned of. There were many good things like Jayson Tatum looking strong again in the beginning, taking the ball to the rack, taking the ball to the rim, playing from the block. You love to see it. You love to see it because this will come very handy in the playoffs for Jayson Tatum. When the game is slowed down, it's a very half-court based game. You love to see different counters from the Boston Celtics, and Jayson Tatum playing on the block, playing in the post will be very helpful for the Boston Celtics. So yeah, as I said, Celtics shots not falling, but playing good basketball. But the Pelicans were hot. They were getting anything they needed, and that's why I said all I said about the Pelicans. They were looking unstoppable. They were getting anything they wanted offensively. After quarter one, we trailed the Pelicans by 11 points. At halftime, we trailed them by 10 points. And we come out of the halftime, and still, I like the effort. I like the effort of the Boston Celtics today. Our efforts were good, but not so much in the first half, but in the second half, going to the boards, crashing for offensive rebounds, our hustle was there. And with the Sam Hauser 3, the Boston Celtics finally got a lead even in the third quarter, and the crowd went berserk. And after that, a CJ McCollum turnover, crowd goes crazier. Sam Hauser cut to the basket, and it's a 3-point Celtic lead. Crowd's going crazy, but kudos again to the Pelicans. They were strong, they took the hit, and they replied, and they even finished the third quarter with a 6-point lead. So kudos again to the Pelicans. I saw Jayson Tatum didn't come back to finish the third quarter, so I was like, Tatum's going to play the whole fourth quarter, and he sure did. A lot of Celtic starters played almost the entirety of the fourth quarter, and they needed to. We started it off by trailing 6, and Tatum and Zion went back and forth for a bit. And at the 8-second mark, the Boston Celtics were trailing by 8 points, 94-86. Joe Mazzulla called timeout, and from there started a run that defined this game. A run of 28 Boston Celtics points to 9 New Orleans Pelicans points. Yes, sir, 28-9. The keys to this run were, as I said, the Pelicans getting tired, the Boston Celtics locking in on defense, hustling for every loose ball, crashing the offensive rebound, the crowd getting involved, and Derek White finally finding his shot. It's a whole different world for the Boston Celtics when Derek White is hitting his shot. The offense opens up so much. When White is hitting shots is truly when the Boston Celtics look unstoppable, and they looked unstoppable in the 28-9 run. The Pelicans, as I said, got tired. I think they slowed their game down a lot. I think this is one of the major things the Pelicans fan base is concerned about, is closing out games, and we could see they struggled today. But the Boston Celtics, all full marks to the Boston Celtics on that 28-9 run. That 28-9 run lasted for almost 7 minutes, so almost till 1 minute to go, the Boston Celtics went from 8 points down to, 28-9. How much? You do the maths. 28-9. My father, if he sees the video, he'll be mad. Now let me get my notes. The Boston Celtics went from trailing the game to 86-94 to leading 114-103. After that, the Celtics relaxed a little. The Pelicans hit a couple of buckets, but with just 1 minute, Celtics made their free throws, and they eventually won 118-112. Yes. Sorry for my maths, but okay, that's it. And kudos to Derek White again. Kudos for making his shots, staying tough. Kudos to the Celtics crowd. The Celtics crowd gave the Boston Celtics a lot of momentum. And this was a very entertaining basketball game. That was that. I hope I'm a fan of the Pelicans. Of course, my favorite team is the Boston Celtics, but if I have to choose one of the teams in the West, I really like the Pelicans. So I hope they figure it out. And that was that for the game. Kristaps Porzingis still didn't play, so hopefully he'll be back against the Indiana Pacers. Indiana Pacers are coming to town tomorrow. Back-to-back tough game. Tyrese Haliburton is expected to make his return. And we'll get a look at Pascal Siakam on his new team, Indiana Pacers. Might be a tough team again in the playoffs. Another tough team in the Eastern Conference. So that's that. Wait for the Pacers tomorrow. Hopefully Porzingis is back. And thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you for sharing this podcast. And that's that. Let's talk Celtic basketball. Let's go Celtics.